Thanks so much for joining us today on this special podcast. We have Robyn Horton joining us today with Evan, and we are talking about doing good in the neighborhood.
That's right. So if it's your first time listening to the podcast, we'd love for you to subscribe. Make sure that wherever you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can get the audio feed on any podcast client. And make sure to leave us a review, 5 stars if you like it. That helps other people to find it and is a big deal for getting the podcast more visible and easily seen for people. So thanks for listening. Thanks for checking out today's episode. It's a good one, Scott.
Yes.
We don't just have Robyn.
No.
We try to talk about a funny thing happening in the news each week, and we're talking aliens.
Yes.
So after Robyn's segment, stick around if you want alien talk.
Yes. Subscribe today, and thanks so much for listening. I always want to do the yell.
You didn't do it.
Because it's terrible. It's like,
I'm not good at it either. I wouldn't do it either, Scott.
Anyway, and we're back.
Hey.
Hi. And we have a special guest.
We do.
Robyn Horton.
Oh, it's me.
It's
Yay.
you. Thanks for being on the podcast,
Yeah.
Robyn.
I'm so excited. My
The
inaugural
missions pastor.
podcast.
Yes,
It's exciting.
it is. You did have one more that never aired, though.
Well, I wasn't going to mention that, Scott, but
Yeah,
since you brought
it's
it
true.
up,
And the
my
reason
feelings were slightly hurt,
Well,
but there was a pandemic.
Yeah, we were literally, the pandemic, it was for the Walk for Good, and the pandemic hit the next week. Like everything shut down.
Rest in peace, Walker.
Yep.
Good.
So
Yes.
yeah.
However, people did walk for
That's
good.
right.
They did.
Well, even
They
without the
did.
podcast, it's amazing.
Well,
They
because we
still
have
were
amazing
doing it.
people.
That's
It was.
right.
It was amazing.
Well, Robyn, we're glad you're here. We would love to talk about some do-good stuff. You are the do-good pastor. It's missions, right? It's kind of old church term, but
Yeah,
we like the
that's right.
updated, fresh
I
version.
do. I like saying I'm over local and global good. That's so like on brand kind of thing.
Ooh, on
Absolutely.
brand. I like that.
That's how she rolls. But Robyn, tell us about you. Tell us about how long you've been at Simple Church, your family. Let's get to know Robyn Horton.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a little bit to know. I've been around for a little while, but only on the Simple Church team for a couple years. January 1 was 2 years for me already.
Really?
Guys, whether you like it or not. It's been 2
We do.
whole years, and I've loved it. Of course, I worked with Justin way back in the day, so worked with him. Let's see, my daughter's 25, so 25 years.
Wow.
I started working with Justin back then, but then did a little bit in between working at a previous church and then was working for 410 Bridge, one of our partners at the Simple Church, and then jumped on board with the Simple Church here 2 years ago. So excited to continue to do good, love the heart of what the Simple Church is all about, and just being the hands and feet of Jesus here locally and around the world. So I've got a husband who is a Bossier City fireman, works a couple other jobs. He's always on the go. So very proud of him. And then 3 kids, Cassidy, who's 25. She's in her 3rd year of medical school. So you can call her Dr. Horton.
Dr. Horton.
Dr. Horton's in the house.
Dr. Horton, ER.
Yes. Carly, who's a senior at Ole Miss. Go Rebels. Almost done. I know it's still tough in our
hard to say.
house. It's still tough. My husband still struggles. He'll always be a LSU Tiger fan. So, and then Jack, who's 14, who's an 8th grader, and just all the fun teenage stuff going on there. So all our family lives here local. My mom and dad now do. My sister's been here for a while. All of us are part of the Simple Church. So it's exciting.
It's awesome.
In fact, I ran into your parents last night at Tamales.
They didn't invite me.
They were just there by themselves. I think it was a date night.
I got tamales, but I
Date
drove through and
night.
picked it up last night.
I
Oh,
had
it is
life group at
Wednesday.
Tamales last
It was
night.
Wednesday, so it was, enchilada special. So they're probably catching a good deal.
Shout out to tamales. We like tamales. And I've been
We
meaning to
do.
tell you, Erin, my sister, got her LSU Health magazine, and Cassidy was in there featured. She sent a picture of it in our family text.
She was. We were like, she's a scholar student. She's got this incredible scholarship from just a very generous former LSU health doctor. And so there Cassidy was featured talking about what she loves about what she's doing, and then her gratitude for this donor who gave so graciously to people from rural Louisiana. If y'all didn't know, if you live in Houghton or actually in Bossier Parish, it's considered a rural parish
Really?
because of the amount of people and proximity to different things. And so because of our address there in Houghton, she is a rural student and qualified for this scholarship. So super thankful. So, Scott, You and I both live in.
Yeah, rural
Rural?
parish.
Rural juror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get a scholarship.
To medical school?
Well,
Probably
you
not.
just told us how your genes. You're smart.
You were saying
Yes.
that. You're doing some
Yeah.
genetic research.
So
Yeah.
you're next, Scott. You're going to be
Yes.
the next one featured.
Dr. Odom.
Terrifying.
Absolutely
Depends
terrifying.
on what
I'll
you're a
pass.
doctor of.
That's right. Jordan jumping on
surgery.
there. Jordan, our producer, said that he does not want to be treated by you, Scott. And I can't blame him.
Here's what we're going to do tonight, guys. All right, we're just going to make a cut and a slice, and we're going to get in there and get out.
We're going to
How
try
hard could
this
it be?
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How hard can it be? You just
Not
go in
measure.
there.
Just look it
so
up on
measure
YouTube.
once, cut twice is kind of how you would
Exactly.
do
That's
it.
right.
Okay.
If you nick something, you nick something.
Yeah, that'll be fine. There's
What's
other
the-
good doctors.
It'll grow back.
What's the Geico commercial? You nervous? Me too.
Anyway, Robyn, we want you on to talk about this cool thing you're doing for 2021. Man, 2021. It's already a year, huh?
Hey, did you know what? I know you won't hear this till next week, but today is the 21st day of the 21st year of the 21st century.
I didn't know.
So make it a good day.
We are
Do something
recording
good
this on
today.
Thursday, the 21st.
So it's 21, 21, 21.
And Mark Perkins,
Wow.
one of our listeners, shout out to
Yes.
Mark, sent us a thing about a palindrome. Do you remember that? I'm going to look that up while you're talking for a second. But
Yeah.
he said that there was like 120.
I know.
2021.
Yeah.
Yeah. 0121. No, wait, that's not a palindrome.
That's
It's the same backwards and forwards.
And
So
I
it's
might have
1,
just
2,
made
1,
up palindrome. Let's see.
2, 1.
Here we go.
2.
It is something that it's a numerical palindrome yesterday that will not occur for 1,000 years. 1, 20, 20, 21. And then reversed is 12, 02, 02, 1.
Neat.
Goes both ways. Thanks,
That
Mark.
is.
Wow.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
a little
Mark.
tip.
That's right. Mark also sent in, we talked a couple weeks ago about who would play you in a movie. I think
Yes.
he nailed it.
Yeah.
Jack Black in the Scott Odom
Jack
story.
Black,
Yeah.
but we've been watching the little series on Netflix, family series called Mr. Iglesias.
I've not seen that.
Well, Scott, it's the Hispanic version
Oh,
of you.
who? It's what's his name?
Fluffy.
Enrique is it not
Enrique.
Enrique.
It's not.
Julio.
And I
No.
can't
Not
go
him either.
on.
No, it's
But that's his
Fluffy.
character's name. Maybe.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't-
yeah,
Only
yeah.
want to be with
Gabriel
you.
Iglesias.
That's
Yes,
it.
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Gabe.
yeah.
Yes. So very much your same
Yes.
mannerisms,
He tells
Entertaining.
body language. It was great.
He tells me one of my favorite jokes of all time. Talking about when he was single and he's like trying to meet a girl and like goes to the club and like, hey girl, you want to dance? And he gets out there and for 30 seconds and he's like, hey, you hungry?
That's funny. That's good.
Oh, see, I
That
told
was a
you.
good
It was just
segue.
like you.
That's right. Nailed it.
Anyway.
But 2021, Robyn, you are
Yes.
doing a 52-week challenge, once a week, something to do good. Talk about what we've already kind of done and the idea we started 3 weeks into it.
Yes. So, just trying to stay positive in 2021. There's a lot of negativity out there, and we can choose to focus on that or we can choose to focus on the good. And by golly, I'm going to focus on the good. So, we are, as a church, just wanting to find ways every single week, small, big, whatever it looks like, to love those around us, love our neighbor, but we're also wanting you guys to get engaged in that. So it's not just something that the church is going and doing and you guys get to stick your name on it. We want our listeners, we want people who are part of the Simple Church to be engaged, give us their ideas as well. So we've launched off. We started with Giving Blood, Scott and I and Justin.
Yes.
I'm scheduled to do it next week. I had to reschedule mine, but I will give.
Thank you, Evan.
Absolutely.
We know of, beyond us, I know of 7 people that because of us mentioning it have gone and then tagged us on social media
Yeah.
or just shared it that they've gone and given blood.
Yeah,
So,
I know of 2. So
oh, well, let's up our
Yeah.
number.
Down
There
to
you
9.
go. Yeah.
I just did
We're
that
up to
math in my
9.
head.
yeah.
And then
so-
when the staff all goes and does it too, it's going to multiply.
Yeah.
So it's still not too late. Obviously, the need for blood in our community is still desperately
very desperate.
needed, and that blood count's very low. So not my blood count, but the pints.
And your
I'm out.
personal blood count is okay.
My personal blood count feeling pretty good
Okay,
today.
good. No anemic.
I need to be hydrate a little bit more. But we gave blood last week. We focused on building snack bags. We did a little Build-A-Bag, little play on the Build-A-Bear.
Yep. I think I was the only one that caught that.
Oh,
I'm
I
thankful.
caught it. Don't
Yeah.
take credit for that. Yeah, you're the
Well, no one else said anything.
The logo was cute.
I thought it was
Shout out
precious.
to Carly who helped me with that. So we, but Build-A-Bag, what that is, if you're not familiar with that, is we just fill a big gallon-sized Ziploc bag full of food and snacks for kids who are food insecure on the weekends. It's kind of hard for a lot of us to even think about. I know I have kids at home, Evan, I know you do too, but that it's possible that Nora could come home and not have anything to eat on the weekend.
Like literally, not just like, oh, there's nothing I like.
Like literally not have access to food for, reasons that many of us probably can't understand. But what we wanted to do is make sure that the schools in our area who were serving and loving these kids, they're aware of these situations, and we wanted to help them provide for those needs. And so we filled snack bags with, what was it, raviolis and applesauce.
Nutri-Grain bars, I say Nutri-Grain, granola bars and juice boxes, peanut butter crackers,
Cereal boxes,
cereal.
little individual cereal boxes. We packed 1,500 of those. Wow. And distributed it out to multiple schools in Bossier Parish where they know the needs of the kids. The counselors there are involved in their lives and know that these kids go home and don't have access to food on the weekend sometimes, depending on those circumstances. So the teachers discreetly put those snack bags in their backpacks on Friday so those kids have something nutritious, something just to fill their bellies on the weekends, and so that they come back to school on Monday ready to learn. And so it's our way really to partner as much with the schools as it is to make sure the needs of those kids are met. And so we were excited that I think we had 90-some people come out to fill the bags. We went to 3 different schools were willing to open up for us on Sunday afternoon, and we pulled in all the supplies, and people showed up in a couple of shifts and unloaded everything, packed them on. In less than 2 hours, we were done and had those things boxed up and ready to drop off to the schools. And by now, every single snack bag has already been delivered to the schools, and they'll be there and can be used as the administration, teachers need them here in Bossier Parish. So another great thing I love about this is we're not the only church doing it. There are 3 or 4 churches in our community that take care of every single Bossier Parish school. Wow. So I just love that partnership. I love that we can be unified around one thing and really meet those needs here in our community and make sure that none of our kids go hungry on the weekends.
So I do have a question just to go back because I'm sure there's some people because it's a term that I have only heard very, very recently, and that's food insecure. Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
Food insecure means that there are kids that don't have access or adequate access to food. It may not mean that their pantry is completely empty, but there are reasons that their parents don't have, or whoever their caregiver is don't have food, but they're going hungry on the weekend. And so it doesn't mean that they're absolutely starving. We're not talking about a developing nation that's been in a drought and they literally have nothing to eat, but they don't have access or easy access to food too. Some of the kids, and we have to remember we are a rural parish. Here we go.
We learned that today.
Yeah.
And there are areas in our community where, depending on where kids live, that they wouldn't be able to walk to a convenience store or anywhere easy access to get food. And if for whatever reasons their mom or dad don't have transportation, there's lots of reasons why people would be food.
And working with Bossier Elementary for years, another thing I'd never thought of is a lot of them don't have refrigerators. They can't afford refrigerators, or they don't even have electricity.
Yeah.
And so if you can't store food, you have to go buy it every day. And you can't transport. You take the bus, get there, and do that. And then if you do have a convenience store but not a grocery store, I mean, the prices are jacked up.
Yeah,
exactly.
And the food you're getting at a convenience store is not
lacking
exactly
nutrition.
nutritious.
Right. And yeah, that's a great point too with the access to, it may not have electricity or at that time. It doesn't mean they don't ever have it, but if it's off or whatever, that's when we make sure everything we put in those bags too is easy to open, has a pop top if it's a can, doesn't require refrigeration, anything like that, so that it can be used at any time, so it won't spoil.
This blows my mind.
In our backyard.
Yeah.
In our
Which
backyard.
when I went to a school in Princeton and Houghton yesterday, delivered boxes to both of them, emptied out the box truck. But and you wouldn't believe it, but just getting to some of those schools, the houses and stuff that I passed, I mean, there is some very, very poor people in this area that are, and who knows why they're in that spot or whatever, but you wouldn't believe it. I'm talking about like just, poor, and they need all the help they can get. So it's just incredible. And they're right down the road from a school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And free and reduced lunch, I mean, people might criticize or say, do they really need their kids to take advantage of the system? But a lot of them, that is the only fruits and vegetables. I mean, we joke about it with ours, like, oh, Nora doesn't like this. 5-year-olds in kindergarten. Right. But for a lot of them, it's the only exposure they get to fresh fruit, vegetables.
Fruit, yeah.
And they are trying to be more nutritious, and there was a big push for that a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But it is something that they get those meals, breakfast and lunch, and they're able to go because they don't have it at home. They don't cook that.
That hurts my heart.
Yeah. And ultimately, we can all have our opinions on why these kids don't have food or, what the right response is. But, Jesus tells us to take care of those who are hungry and to feed those who are thirsty. And I just, it's not the child's fault that they don't have what they don't have. And so I just love the heart of the Simple Church. I love that, we did have 97 people come out and fill these bags. I think there were a lot of other people that wanted to come. We just only had
Filled
a
up the
limited
spots,
spot. We were
right.
only going to have so many people in those enclosed spaces doing that. But we had so many givers. We asked for $5 to fill 2 bags. And we exceeded our goal. We needed about $4,000. I think we ended up having closer to 5. So all the money that we got went directly to pay for those items, and then anything left over will go towards our next Do Good project. So, but it was crazy on Sunday just to watch as people gave, and little $5, $10, $25 donations added up so quickly. And so hundreds of you were a part of that also. So we're just really thankful for how everybody jumped on and did a little good this past week.
I like it.
Be a part of it. No, that's awesome. And that's a big deal. And I think that's another thing that you've done really well in the church we've tried to do is partner with the people that are already doing it. And I love that because it's not like, hey, we're going to create a Simple Church food pantry and we're going to have our own stuff and come to us. But you really are going around and saying, this school, what do you need? We have people like Spud, Mr. Spud, that goes into the Houghton and says, what can we do to help you? And it's not our terms and you have to jump through our hoops to get what you want, but you really are looking in our community in Shreveport, Bossier, and around the world to say, what can we do to help what you're already doing?
Absolutely. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just want to walk alongside those who are already
I like that. I'm sorry.
doing well.
It struck Scott.
I like that.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, there's no need for us to. We're not an expert in meeting the needs of kids. We're not an expert in how to love the homeless. We're not an expert, but we have experts in our community. So it only makes sense for us to jump on board with what they're doing and to support their work that they're doing. That's what I love about Common Ground. They have developed a program to reach kids in their community, and we certainly don't know the ins and outs of that. We're just going to trust them and support them financially with volunteers in any way that we can to support the work that they've been called to do. So,
And they want our help. I mean, just like with Spud yesterday, the schools weren't like, oh, great, there's those people again. I mean, they were excited to see Spud. The kids knew who he was. They were excited.
Everybody
Yeah, it's like,
knows Spud.
yeah, so it's not like, people are like, oh, gosh, there's the church people again. I mean, they're so thankful that we're there. And I think that's another
That's a great
important
point.
part, yeah, because they're just like, oh, thank goodness you're here. Yes, we need this. So not a negative experience at all.
The reputation we strive for.
Yeah.
That's good.
right. That's right.
So do you have any stories, Robyn, from the food bags or talking about that? I know Scott has something that he had talked about.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. No, go ahead, Scott, and I can just tell a couple of anecdotes that I heard.
Well, so I go to Sam's for the office fairly often. We do click and pull basically at Sam's, and there is it's generally the same woman every time, and she actually, her kid was blessed by our food bags last year. And so she knows exactly, like when I pulled up, she knew why I was there because she says, you fed my kids before.
Wow.
Yeah, and so she's gotten better now, but there was a time where she's working full time. She's a single mom, and it's not of any other reason that she just wasn't making enough money, that she couldn't really afford it. Now she's moved up in Sam's, and so she's now making more money, and it's not as bad as it was. But she was overwhelming to the point she's in tears because she knows why we're there to get that food. So you never know who in the community, who it's helping. I mean, this is just some woman that has always, she's just there working at Sam's, and she's the click and pull lady.
Right.
But here we are. We fed her kid at a school last year, and it put her in tears when I was picking up the food. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I love those firsthand stories. I know we've heard from teachers in the past, and Spud has lots of stories on the stories of kids who really have the impact it's been on a teacher that they've been able to have that resource to send home.
Yeah.
But I loved this past weekend just seeing families. I think the beauty of what happened this past weekend was families that came to serve together from we wrote on every single Ziploc at our location, every bag, just reminding kids that they are loved, that they're, that they are awesome, have a great weekend, whatever it is. But we had one student, I think, Evan, you interviewed her a little bit, just who went above and beyond and just pouring her heart out and just using encouraging words to remind these kids how valuable they are and that they're loved. So I love that part of it. We had other people talk about their experience in other parts of the country and seeing how they've been a part of doing a food bag in other places, but it had been a problem solved not by the church, and how much she loved that the church was solving that problem rather than relying on the government to solve that problem. So I loved hearing that.
Step in. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Robyn, going forward, we want people engaged, what you talked about at the beginning.
Yeah.
How do we have people give ideas, or if you're with an organization or no organization that we can help, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways. If you want to just stay engaged with what we're doing for the 52 weeks, you can we'll do text updates. We're about to launch an email every week about just giving you do good updates on what we're doing, but what our partners are doing as well, kind of share about all of that. So if you want to be included on that, text do good to 77222. Do good, all one word. I think it's all lowercase. Does that matter?
Case doesn't matter. I don't think so. You're good.
Okay. So do good 77222, and we'll put you on our text updates for that. But in our 52 weeks of doing good, we've got several things lined out here for the next few weeks, and we'll be talking about that coming up. However, there's 52 weeks. We want your ideas. So email us at dogood@thesimplechurch.tv and share an idea that you have, whether it's like Eli's idea of find an area and let's go pick up trash, or you've got a neighbor, you've got some work that you think can be done, or you just want to share what story how you did good. We want to capture that too. We don't want it all to be driven by us, but we want you guys to help drive it. You guys are a part of who we are, and we want you to help lead us through these 52 weeks. So share your ideas. Do good at thesimplechurch.tv.
And we'll put those in the show notes. So if you're listening to the podcast, you can go through and click it and send an email directly and put it there.
Ooh,
That's
I didn't
right.
even know we had show notes.
Yes,
This
we
is
do.
really professional.
Next
We've stepped up
level.
our game.
Yes. Wow.
Because I know
It
I
must
listen
be-
to something. If you're driving in the
Yeah.
car, you're like, what was that email? So go back
Right.
and check it out.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So we do have stuff coming up. We'll be working with Shreveport Rescue Mission next week, trying to love on them, encourage their staff. They've been through a lot here lately with COVID. And so we are going to encourage them next week with just handwritten notes, just kind of flood their staff and their residents with some much needed encouragement.
It's awesome. And Valentine's Day is a big thing we've got cooking up.
Oh my goodness, Hospital Hope is a huge thing, and we will need everybody to participate in that. Whether you live here or you don't, we want you to be engaged in how we are going to love all 7 hospitals in this area. We're going to feed them all that day. We're going to give away tons of prizes. So we need lots of engagement, whether it be prizes, people to show up to help prepare the food, serve, collect drinks, all kinds of things. There'll be lots more coming on that.
And if that's something you're wanting to do or interested in, make sure you email Robyn and sign up for the
Yep.
text. And if you're listening somewhere else, this inspires you to do good. Robyn can help you, tell you what we're doing, and get that
Absolutely. I'd be
information.
happy to share that.
Yeah, there's people in Hawaii that
Hawaii.
Amy
listen.
Lawson.
So you can do it anywhere. Literally, you can do good anywhere.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. Robyn, thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
you.
I enjoyed
We
being
are going to
here.
go into another segment about
Yes.
aliens, but I think you're bouncing out
Yes.
for
I'm
that.
bouncing
Yeah.
out. I got to go love on the police officer over in Shreveport.
Do
so
good right now.
heading there.
Yep.
All
Have
right.
fun.
Thanks, Robyn.
Thanks.
All right, Scott. Robyn's
Yes.
gone because now we got to
Yeah,
get to the
and thank
important
you,
stuff.
Robyn. By the way,
She did great.
Yeah, she did.
Absolutely. But this, Scott, is something that I think you personally are invested in.
I'm already smiling.
We're talking about aliens. Scott, tell me your thoughts on aliens.
I think they're real.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, look, maybe I'm crazy, but the universe and space, I mean, that's a lot.
It's a big place.
Yeah, who's to say they're not out there?
I'm a skeptic. I would go ahead and say I'm skeptical, but it has been a weird year in the news for aliens
Yes.
because COVID is kind of covering up some things that have come out. Have you watched the released footage from the U.S. Navy of
Yes,
the ships?
I have.
There's a video,
Yes.
Jordan. I'm going to put a link in the show notes. Help me remember. If you've not watched this video, this is an official video from
Yes.
the Navy that they
United
released.
States Navy.
Yeah. What other country?
I don't know.
The Uzbekistan Navy.
Uzbekistan,
the Scandinavian Navy.
Yeah.
Uzbekistan, I
Norway.
think, is landlocked. It's awesome if they have a navy.
That's
it's
right.
One boat, one guy. Thank you. And if
you.
you're listening in Uzbekistan, thank you.
Thank you. That's right. But the U.S. Navy
Yes.
released this footage of unknown ship, 2 pilots flying around that come out, and people have talked about it. There's all these conspiracy theories, right? And there's one show, I think it's called UFO Hunters on History Channel. Have
Yes.
you seen it?
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
seen it?
And also, there's UFO History on the History Channel with the guy with the crazy hair.
Yes. Aliens.
Reminds me of like it's a mix between Doc from Back to the Future and Don King.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good call. I can see
yeah.
that. That's right. But one of the guys featured on UFO Hunters is a guy named John Greenwald Jr. I'll make sure I get his name right. And he is known for running the website The Black Vault. Have you ever heard of The Black Vault? Me neither.
No.
So Greenwald is somebody that is looking for aliens, and he has sent over 10,000 Freedom of Information Act requests over the last 20 years to try to get government documents about aliens.
What?
10,000.
But okay, hold on, pause. How does he make money? Like, if he's doing that much, like, what is he doing?
He has books, he has a podcast, and his website, The Black Vault, are all part of this alien hunting
Oh my gosh!
investigation. It's his passion, Scott, and he scored a major win in December.
Oh, did he?
That's right. You might have heard there was a COVID relief bill that
Yes.
made national news, right?
Yeah.
What was not included in most news sources in the 5,600 pages of documentation, there was an article thrown in that requires the CIA to release classified alien files that he petitioned his congressman to get in there and was made it through the bill.
Oh my gosh!
So the CIA had 6 months from December 20th to testify before Congress and declassify alien documents. So somebody at the CIA decided to send the information to John Greenwald Jr. ahead of time. He got a major victory and he got a win. But Scott, I want you to look at your phone because I sent you a
my
picture.
gosh.
In the modern
wait.
world, most young people probably don't know this. You couldn't just send stuff by email or by Dropbox or cloud service. The CIA burned a CD-ROM with 2,600 documents and mailed it to John Greenwald Jr.
Look at the
because they are
picture.
so petty and mad that he has sent all these things to bother them all these years.
Oh my gosh!
So, Jordan, we're going to make sure we put a picture of this on the video here. that
it
people
even
can see.
says unclassified, approved for release.
That is the legal files that the CIA sent his
and it has a
company.
little picture of a UFO and like in black and white.
It looks like a burn CD I made in
Yeah.
like 2004.
This does not make me feel good about the CIA.
I think they did it out of spite. I think they
hope
really
they
did
did.
it because this guy has been a thorn in their side, and he actually got the government to release all these documents. And if you want to read them, they're all available on his website. It's some weird stuff. I didn't read all of them, but it talks about Russian towns and villages that had experiences with aliens.
Yeah, I've read up on some of that stuff. Like there's a place in the forest that weird stuff happens.
It's pretty interesting. But my favorite thing about this is just somebody at the CIA is like, we still have that CD burner in the back.
Like, hey, Mike, that's that Griswold guy again. He wants the stupid the Greenwald. He just wants the. All right, I think I got this image, and then I can just picture them laughing like, okay,
Having fun.
all right, fine.
Good luck.
Here you go.
And the other thing is, they didn't send it like in a Word document. They made them images so he couldn't copy and paste the text for his website. So he transposed all 2,600 documents and had to go through and put them up on his website.
That
so
is
people could
too
search
much
them.
work.
That's dedication.
He is
That is
dedicated to finding the
ridiculous.
truth, Scott. The truth is out there.
Well, here's the thing, though, and here's my thoughts on aliens. I'm not going to say, like, I think they're out there, but that's not saying that they're visiting Earth, because I kind of agree with what Stephen Hawking said about aliens.
all right.
Which he said, you better hope aliens aren't visiting, because
The only reason they'd visit.
is to take our resources. Because he said, if you think about animals and even humans, the only reason why we are looking at space, and the reason why we began looking at space to begin with, and if you go back into the space program, was to look for another place for us to go to in case our planet fails. So he's saying if aliens are visiting us, it ain't good. That they're looking to take our resources, or they're coming for a new home.
Do, do, do.
Yeah. So they're not coming to be technically our leader.
They don't want to just hang out.
That was I'm sorry if you're Hispanic. I just made the alien Hispanic. I apologize.
You don't know what their accent could be. There you go. But, Scott, that's what I got for you today.
Yeah,
Look up
I
the
like it.
Black Vault if you're
Black
interested
Vault,
in
yeah.
aliens. Let us know if you believe in aliens. You
Yes.
can email us.
At Scott@thesimplechurch.tv.
There you
Because
go.
we're not sure if podcast@thesimplechurch.tv works.
There's
so,
a way we can make sure that does confirm that.
Yeah, we need to do that.
We should.
But you can email me.
That's
I
right.
like emails. I don't get a lot, so there you go.
Or
Yeah.
follow on Instagram.
Yeah, on Instagram and Facebook.
I think you should post this picture on there.
Yes, I should. I need to.
That'd be good.
I'm terrible at social media.
That's all right.
And to the listener, I apologize. I'm looking right at the camera right now. I apologize for being terrible at social media. I'll get better.
And on that note, Scott,
Have a great day.
happy January.
Yeah, happy 21-21-21.
That's right.
Or actually, it'd be 012121.
2021. Something like that.
Sounds like binary.
All right, bye.
Showed my nerding. Thanks so much for joining us on this wonderful episode. We talked to Robyn, and she gave us a lot of good information on doing good, both locally and globally. And we had a little alien talk, and I had a lot of fun.
That's some weird stuff, Scott.
Very weird.
Look up that CD.
I will.
It's good.
Yeah.
But if you make sure you've not subscribe to never miss an episode. We have a new episode every Wednesday. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Simple Church, and you can get the videos. And, Scott, if they leave us a 5-star review that helps people to find it, it's a big deal, and we hope they would go to do that. Share it with your friends. Let us know, and follow us on Instagram, Backstage Podcast.
Yes, backstage at the Simple Church Podcast, I think.
You looked confused, but you can find
I
it.
was- I
We'll put it in the
looked,
show
yeah.
notes. That's right. Click on there if you want that, as well as more information about doing good. You can email Robyn at thesimplechurch.tv and sign up for text message updates.
Yes, and also, once again, if you have any topic that you want to hear discussed on the podcast, or if you just have or want some more information from us, just email me directly at scott@thesimplechurch.tv.
Scott with 2 T's.
Yes, double T. Thanks so much for listening. Subscribe today.
Have a great week.